Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Nabanita Adhikari with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Boris Johnson review comprehensive strategic partnership during bilateral talks in New Delhi. Issues of defence and security cooperation, cyber security and space figure in discussion. India and United Kingdom decide to push for conclusion of free trade agreement by end of this year. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh calls upon defence startups and innovators to develop unique technologies to deal with future threats. Home Minister Amit Shah stresses on importance of coordination among police forces from different states for smart policing. Delhi government issues fresh guidelines for schools to curb spread of COVID-19 infection. World Earth Day being observed today. Prime Minister says the day is about expressing gratitude to Mother Earth for her kindness. In Asian Wrestling Championships in Mongolia, Indian women grapplers Anshu Malik and Radhika secure silver while Manisha clinches bronze. In IPL cricket match between Delhi Capitals and Rajasthan Royals underway in Mumbai and stage set for grand opening of Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru on Sunday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his UK counterpart Boris Johnson reviewed the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries during their bilateral talks in New Delhi today. Issues of defence and security cooperation, cyber security and space also figured in the discussion between the two leaders. Addressing a joint press briefing following the bilateral talks, Prime Minister Modi said India and the United Kingdom have decided to do their best to conclude the free trade agreement by the end of this year.
आज की हमारी बातचीत में आगामी समय के लिए कुछ लक्ष्य भी तय किए। फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट के विषय पर दोनों देशों की टीम्स काम कर रही है। बातचीत में अच्छी प्रगति हो रही है और हमने इस साल के अंत तक एफटीए के समापन की दिशा में पूरा प्रयास करने का निर्णय लिया है। हमने रक्षा क्षेत्र में सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमति व्यक्त की है। रक्षा क्षेत्र में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, टेक्नोलॉजी, डिजाइन और डेवलपमेंट सभी क्षेत्रों में यूके द्वारा आत्मनिर्भर भारत के समर्थन का हम स्वागत करते हैं।
Mr. Modi said both countries have decided to deepen climate and energy partnership and invited UK to join India's national hydrogen mission. Both leaders also discussed the developments taking place at the regional and global level. Prime Minister Modi said they emphasized on maintaining the Indo-Pacific region based on a free, open, inclusive and rules-based order.
हमने क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक स्तर पर हो रहे अनेक डेवलपमेंट्स पर भी चर्चा की। एक फ्री, ओपन, इंक्लूसिव एंड रूल बेस्ड ऑर्डर पर आधारित इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र बनाए रखने पर हमने जोर दिया। इंडो पैसिफिक ओशन इनिशिएटिव से जुड़ने के यूके के निर्णय का भारत स्वागत करता है।
Mr. Modi said they stressed on dialogue and diplomacy in Ukraine for an immediate ceasefire and resolution of the problem. They also reiterated the importance of respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all countries.
हमने सभी देशों की क्षेत्रीय अखंडता और संप्रभुता के सम्मान का महत्व भी दोहराया। हमने एक पीसफुल, स्टेबल और सिक्योर अफगानिस्तान और एक इंक्लूसिव और रिप्रेजेंटेटिव गवर्नमेंट के लिए अपना समर्थन दोहराया। यह आवश्यक है कि अफगान भूमि का प्रयोग अन्य देशों में आतंकवाद फैलाने के लिए नहीं होना चाहिए।
In his statement, the visiting Prime Minister Johnson said the partnership between India and Britain is one of the defining friendships of the times. He pointed out that since last year, the threats of autocratic coercion have grown even further and it is vital to deepen cooperation, including shared interest in keeping the Indo-Pacific open and free.
Britain is one of the oldest and India, certainly the largest democracy, is one of the defining friendships of our times. And what we're doing is taking forward an ambitious 10-year roadmap for British-Indian relations that we agreed last year. And it's vital that we deepen our cooperation, including our shared interest in keeping the Indo-Pacific open and free. So today, we've agreed a new and expanded defence and security partnership, a decades-long commitment that will not only forge tighter bonds between us, but support your goal of Make in India.
Two agreements were also exchanged following the bilateral talks. Briefing media this evening after the talks, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said defence and security cooperation was another key focus area for the visit. He said both leaders held detailed discussion on opportunities for defence collaborations, particularly co-development and co-production of advanced defence technologies. They welcomed the establishment of a mechanism on maritime electric propulsion. Prime Minister Modi invited British industries to take advantage of India's modern defence ecosystem and Make in India to meet the needs of the armed forces of India as well as those of other countries. Prime Minister Modi welcomed the recent UK announcement of open general export licence that will significantly facilitate UK's defence licensing process for India. He also welcomed the open opportunity for Indian defence companies to participate in UK's new helicopter and naval shipbuilding programme. Both sides also agreed on intensifying operation in countering threats in new domains like cybersecurity, space, artificial intelligence, as well as on strengthening cooperation on counter-terrorism and addressing violent extremism and radicalism. On cybersecurity, both leaders agreed to enhance the India-UK cybersecurity partnership with a focus on cyber governance, safeguarding national infrastructure and building cyber deterrence. In the context of the current global energy price volatility, both leaders also emphasized cooperation on rapid deployment on renewables, including offshore wind energy, in which UK is a world leader, and in areas like green hydrogen. They also discussed ongoing health collaboration, building on the successful partnership of the Covishield vaccine.
Discussed ongoing health collaboration, building on the successful partnership of the Covishield vaccine. Science and technology partnership, higher education, migration, mobility were other areas that figured in the discussions. The talks provided an opportunity to exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual interest, including cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. India welcomed the UK joining the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative under the Maritime Security Pillar and agreed to cooperate closely in this region towards their shared commitment for maintaining an open, free and secure Indo-Pacific region.
Our correspondent has filed this report.
The main agenda of the visit of the UK Prime Minister was bilateral relations, to review the Roadmap 2030 and focus on its implementation and on delivering results. During the bilateral talks, the two leaders appreciated the progress achieved so far in various sectors. In the context of the ongoing free trade agreement negotiations, the emphasis was on strengthening trade and economic relations. Both leaders mandated the trade teams to work towards completing free trade agreement by the last quarter of this year. An FTA between the fifth and sixth largest economies of the world is expected to boost economic growth, create new jobs in both countries, and double bilateral trade by 2030. With Anand Kumar, Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
Mr. Johnson arrived in India on a two-day visit yesterday. He was accorded a ceremonial reception at Rashtrapati Bhavan this morning. The British Prime Minister also visited Rajghat and laid a wreath at the Samadhi of Mahatma Gandhi. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on the visiting dignitary.
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has asked defence startups and innovators to develop new and unique technologies to deal with future threats. Mr. Singh was speaking at the inaugural function of DevConnect in New Delhi. He also launched Defence India Startup Challenge DISC 6 on the occasion, terming the private sector, individual innovators, startups and MSMEs as strong pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The Raksha Mantri exhorted them to ensure uniqueness, new defence technology. The minister said DevConnect 2.0 is celebration of the growth of Indian defence startup ecosystem.
ये हमारे इनिशिएटिव इनोवेशन फॉर डिफेंस सप्लाइज यानी आईडेक्स की सफलता का एक विशाल बहुत बड़ा इंडिकेटर है। आईडेक्स ने अब तक अनेक न्यूली बॉर्न और होम ग्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी को विकसित होने और आगे बढ़ने में मदद की। इसने स्टार्टअप्स के लिए इनोवेशन और टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट को प्रदर्शित करने का एक महत्वपूर्ण मंच भी प्रदान किया है। इसके साथ ही डिफेंस सेक्टर में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी, ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी, स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी जैसे फ्यूचरिस्टिक टेक्नोलॉजी को भी हमारे साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोफेशनल्स को अच्छी तरह से जानने, उसे समझने और उनका एक्सपीरियंस लेने का एक अवसर यह आईडेक्स में ही उपलब्ध कराया है।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said coordination and cooperation between police forces from different states is necessary for smart policing. Mr. Shah was addressing the 48th All India Police Science Congress meet organized by the Bureau of Police Research and Development at the Central Police Training Academy in Bhopal today.
पुलिस के राज्य के भीतर समन्वय के बगैर और पुलिस के राज्य के बाहर समन्वय के बगैर और टेक्नोलॉजी को आत्मसात करे बगैर लड़ पाना असंभव, चाहे वो नारकोटिक्स का मसला हो, चाहे वो फेक करेंसी का मसला हो, चाहे हवाला ट्रांजैक्शन से देश विरोधी गतिविधि करने वाले लोगों के पास पैसा पहुंचाने का मसला हो, चाहे साइबर क्राइम हो, चाहे हथियारों के सीमा पार से आने का मसला हो, ये सारी समस्या ऐसी है जिसका समाधान सातत्यपूर्ण रणनीति से ही होता है।
The Home Minister also participated in several other events during his day-long visit to Bhopal. He addressed the conference of forest committees this afternoon. Mr. Shah also distributed bonus amounts to the dry leaves collectors. The senior BJP leader also attended a roadshow and addressed a meeting of party office bearers, leaders and workers at the state party unit.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Boris Johnson review comprehensive strategic partnership during bilateral talks in New Delhi. Issues of defence and security cooperation, cyber security and space figure is in discussion. India and United Kingdom decide to push for conclusion of free trade agreement by end of this year. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh calls upon defence startups and innovators to develop unique technologies to deal with future threats. Home Minister Amit Shah stresses on importance of coordination among police forces from different states for smart policing. Delhi government issues fresh guidelines for schools to curb spread of COVID-19 infection. World Earth Day being observed today. Prime Minister says the day is about expressing gratitude to Mother Earth for her kindness. In Asian Wrestling Championship in Mongolia, Indian women grapplers Anshu Malik and Radhika secure silver, while Manisha clinches bronze. In IPL cricket, match between Delhi Capitals and Rajasthan Royals underway in Mumbai. And stage set for grand opening of Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru on Sunday. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Welcome back to the evening news. India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 187.44 lakh mark. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said more than 17 lakh vaccine doses were administered today. 2,451 new cases were reported in the country in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 98.75%. In view of the recent surge in COVID-19 cases in the national capital, the Delhi government has issued Standard Operating Procedure SOP to curb the spread of infection in schools. The SOP outlines various precautionary measures to be adopted in schools to prevent the spread of infection. As per the guidelines, head of schools are advised to ensure that all eligible students, teaching and non-teaching staff, as well as support staff of the school, is vaccinated, and it should be the top priority. They have been asked to ensure that all students and guests wear masks and also ensure regular sanitization of the school premises and adequate availability of thermal scanners, disinfectants, sanitizers, soaps and masks. No student, teacher, staff or guest should be allowed to enter the school premises without proper thermal scanning. Parents have been advised that if the child or any of the family members show COVID symptoms, they should not send the child to the school. At the time of taking morning attendance, the teacher will ask the students daily whether they or any of their family members are suffering from COVID-related symptoms.
Delhi government has issued a notification saying that a fine of 500 rupees will be imposed on those found not wearing masks at public places in Delhi. However, the fine will not be applicable to persons travelling together in private four-wheeler together. Earlier, in view of the rise in COVID-19 cases in the national capital, Delhi Disaster Management Authority, during its meeting on Wednesday, had made wearing of masks mandatory and decided that a fine of 500 rupees will be imposed for not wearing of masks at public places. The 7th edition of India Pharmaceutical and Medical Device Conference 2022 will be held in New Delhi on Monday. The theme of the 3-day conference is Vision 2047, Transformative Roadmap for the Future. The conference aims to bring together pharma industry and medical device manufacturing players, stakeholders and academia to deliberate upon the future roadmap of the industry in the next 25 years. Speaking at the curtain raiser event, Health and Family Welfare Minister Mansukh Manvia said in New Delhi that the event will help stakeholders strategize on how to take pharma and manufacturing industries forward in next 25 years.
More than 4,82,000 people participated in Ayushman Bharat block-level health melas on day 4 across the country. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry, in collaboration with states and union territories, is celebrating the 4th anniversary of Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav from the 16th of April till today. Around 587 blocks organized health melas yesterday. In these melas, more than 66,000 Ayushman Bharat Health account identity cards were created and 18,000 Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana golden cards were issued. Thousands of screenings for hypertension, diabetes and other ailments were conducted during the melas. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has said growth in the Ayush sector is tremendous and India can benefit the maximum from it. The minister was addressing the valedictory session of Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit at Gandhinagar in Gujarat this evening. He said the country should have maximum unicorn startups from the Ayush sector. Mr. Thakur said the focus should be on research in Ayush along with its documentation.
आयुष के क्षेत्र में इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात हो, इनोवेशन की, इसकी संभावनाएं असीमित हैं और मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं, बड़े जिम्मेदारी के साथ इस बात को कह रहा हूं कि 2014 में जो $3 बिलियन का आप व्यापार करते थे, वो 6 गुना से ज्यादा बढ़कर आज $18 बिलियन पहुंच गया है, यानी कि 22,000 करोड़ से बढ़कर 1,35,000 करोड़ हो गया है। ये अपने आप में दिखाता है कि आयुष के माध्यम से या इस क्षेत्र में अपार संभावनाएं हैं और मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है हम इस क्षेत्र में और बड़ा काम करने वाले हैं।
BJP National President JP Nadda has said Himachal Pradesh emerged as a leading state in the country in terms of development due to double-engine governments at the centre and in the state. Addressing a gathering after the roadshow at Nagrota Bhavan, Mr. Nadda hit out at the Congress party, accusing it of ignoring interest of the state and its people. He said the Congress governments always ignored interest of the state and snatched its rightful rights. The World Earth Day is being observed today. The event is observed on 22nd of April every year to demonstrate support for environmental protection. It marks the anniversary of the birth of the modern environmental movement in 1970. The main theme for this year is Invest in Our Planet. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called upon people to put in concerted efforts to reverse the damage caused to the planet. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Earth Day is about expressing gratitude to Mother Earth for her kindness. He reiterated his commitment to care for the planet.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
On the 22nd of April 1930, revolutionary freedom fighters battled the British forces in the Jalalabad hills near Chittagong.
Breaking the myth that the British were invincible, Master Surya Sen, with his team of revolutionaries, liberated his hometown from British rule. On the night of 18th of April 1930, Surya Sen and his Indian Republican Army attacked the British strongholds and captured them, thus almost effectively paralyzing the British administration in Chittagong.
A team led by Anantlal Singh and Ganesh Ghosh, along with Master, captured the reserve police lines at Dampara. On the other hand, a team led by Ambika Chakravarti and a woman revolutionary, Preetilata Vaddedar, cut off the telegraph and telephone lines. Thus, the communication of Chittagong was severed from the rest of India.
Another team, led by young Jugantar member Lal Mohan Sen, uprooted the Nangal-Kot railway line, effectively destroying chances of any source of help for the British forces. Master and his fellow revolutionaries then assembled at the reserve police lines and hoisted the Indian flag, declaring the formation of a provisional revolutionary government. Thus, Chittagong was free for 4 days from the British Raj.
But soon, the British sent reinforcement by road. In the ensuing battle, many revolutionary freedom fighters were martyred, including Harigopal, Bidhu Bhattacharya, Nirmal Lala, Naresh Rai and Prabhash Bal. Ambika Chakravarti and Binod Bihari Chaudhary were gravely injured. General Loknath, like a wounded tiger, exhorted his comrades, "Fire until the machine guns are completely silent."
The brave sons of the soil fought an honourable battle to the last. The saga of the revolutionaries could be summarized in the lines of the famous poet Faiz Ahmed Faiz.
जिस धज से कोई मक्तल में गया, वो शान सलामत रहती है। ये जान तो आनी जानी है, इस जान की तो कोई बात नहीं।
22nd April is also the death anniversary of freedom fighter Bishambar Dayal, who died in 1931.
Bishambar Dayal was born in Alwar district of Rajasthan in 1893. Right from his initial days, he was committed to the national cause, and that is why he didn't marry in his lifetime. At a young age of 19 years, Bishambar entered into the revolutionary freedom movement to free the motherland from the shackles of British tyranny.
He was also involved in bombing Viceroy Hastings in Delhi in 1912. Because of this incident, Bishambar came into the eyes of the British government.
Bishambar became a member of the Revolutionary Socialist Party and came into contact with Chandrasekhar Azad and Bhagat Singh. It was during this period Chandrasekhar Azad visited Bishambar Dayal and learnt bomb making and other activities from him.
He was planning to rescue Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru, but before any plan could be implemented, Bishambar was arrested. He was tried in the Delhi conspiracy case and sent to jail. In jail, he was tortured and he succumbed to his injuries on the 22nd of April 1931. AIR News pays tribute to the brave son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
FSSAI has launched Food Safety Connect app for food business operators and consumers. Download this app from Google Play Store and easily apply for FSSAI registration. Consumers can use this app to register food-related complaints.
The Sensex and the Nifty today plunged more than 1%, a report from the business desk.
Sensex lost 715 points, 1.23% to finish at 57,197. Nifty also tumbled by 221 points to settle at 17,172. In the foreign exchange market, the rupee weakened by 32 paise against the US dollar. Gold prices fell 190 rupees. The precious metal was trading at 52,225 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices declined by 600 rupees to 66,525 rupees per kilogram, and oil prices witnessed losses of around 1.5%. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading around $106.80 per barrel. Arjun Chaudhary for AIR News.
On to sports. In Asian Wrestling Championships at Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia, Indian women wrestlers Anshu Malik and Radhika won silver in 57 kg and 65 kg freestyle categories today. Besides, another grappler, Manisha, clinched bronze in the 62 kg women's freestyle category. Defending champion Anshu had won all three of her bouts by technical superiority as she had made her way to the final. However, in the last summit, she lost the gold medal match 0-4 via fall to Sugumi Sakurai of Japan. Radhika won three of her four bouts in the 65 kg category. The only match that she lost was against the eventual gold medalist from Japan, Miya Morikawa. Manisha defeated Korea's Hanbit Lee 4-2 via fall in the 62 kg to win the bronze medal in the playoff. In Santosh Trophy football final group encounter, the match between Punjab and host Kerala in Wayanad Stadium in Manjeri, Kerala is underway. Earlier this evening, West Bengal defeated Meghalaya 4-3 at Kottapadi Stadium in Malappuram. The win boosts West Bengal's chances of making it to the semi-finals.
In IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals were 159 for 1 in 16.1 overs against Delhi Capitals at Wankhede Stadium, Mumbai, when reports last came in. Earlier, Delhi won the toss and opted to bowl. Last night, Chennai Super Kings defeated Mumbai Indians by 3 wickets at Dr. D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai. With this loss, 5-time IPL champions Mumbai Indians became the first team to lose their first 7 matches in an India Premier League season. The countdown has begun for the inauguration of Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru on Sunday by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu. Addressing a curtain-raiser press conference in Bengaluru today, the Karnataka Sports Minister Dr. Narayan Gowda said the preparations are in the final stage for the biggest sporting event post-COVID. He said Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur and Governor Thawarchand Gehlot, Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai will be among the guests during the inaugural event.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi will have strong surface winds during daytime. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Kolkata and Chennai are likely to have partly cloudy sky. Jammu, Srinagar, Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh and Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Guwahati, Imphal, Shillong, Kohima, Aizawl, Itanagar and Agartala will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Boris Johnson review comprehensive strategic partnership during bilateral talks in New Delhi. Issues of defence and security cooperation, cyber security and space figure in discussion. India and United Kingdom decide to push for conclusion of free trade agreement by end of this year. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh calls upon defence startups and innovators to develop unique technologies to deal with future threats. Home Minister Amit Shah stresses on the importance of coordination among police forces from different states for smart policing. Delhi government issues fresh guidelines for schools to curb spread of COVID-19 infection. World Earth Day being observed today. Prime Minister says the day is about expressing gratitude to Mother Earth for her kindness. In Asian Wrestling Championships in Mongolia, Indian women grapplers Anshu Malik and Radhika secure silver while Manisha clinches bronze. In IPL cricket, match between Delhi Capitals and Rajasthan Royals underway in Mumbai. And stage set for grand opening of Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru on Sunday. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.